All right, let's talk materials for our strawberry. First and foremost, we're gonna need our 3.5 hook. We will need some scissors. We're gonna need a yarn needle, stitch marker, optional quilting pins, and this is just to keep the top of our strawberry in place as we're attaching it to the body. You don't really need them, but it does make your life a little easier. And the final thing is we will need some yarn. So I did a dark red and a green. Feel free to use whatever color you want. We will also need some white for the seeds. And oh, before I forget, we need polyfill because we do want to stuff our strawberry. This is not an applique. This is going to be a stuffed strawberry. You won't need a lot. This is actually like probably double the amount that you're going to need, but you will need some polyfill. And I think I'll use it. So let's get into it. Alrighty, let's start with the body of our strawberry, and we're going to start with a magic circle and 6 single crochets inside of our magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Row number 2 is going to be 1 single crochet and then an increase. So 1 single crochet in that first stitch, 2 single crochets in that next stitch. Let's do that again. 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets, and you're going to do that all the way around. Row number 3 is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. So that's 1, 2, and then an increase. 1, 2, and then an increase. And you're going to do that all the way around. Row number 4 is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase. 1, 2, 3. And then an increase. 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. You're going to do that all the way around. Row number 5, we are moving right along here. It's going to be 1 single crochet in each, and you're going to do that all the way around. Row number 6 is going to be 4 single crochets and an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase all the way around. Row 7 is going to be 5 single crochets and an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an increase all the way around. Row number 8 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. And you're going to do that all the way around. Row number 9 is going to be our very last row of increases, and this is going to be 6 single crochets and then an increase. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then an increase all the way around. Alright, so this is what our strawberry is looking like so far, and it's looking strawberry-esque. I'm not even gonna lie. Alright, so row number 10 is gonna be our first round of decreases, and we're gonna do 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So that was 1, 2, and then a decrease. 1, 2, and then a decrease, and you're gonna do that all the way around. Row 11 is going to be 1 single crochet, then a decrease, 1, and then a decrease, decrease all the way around. Okay, so at this point we're starting, let me flatten it out so you can see kind of what I mean. We're starting to go in with our strawberries. So you see how the increases helped us to go out. Now we're starting to curve in. A strawberry, it gathers pretty quickly, it closes pretty quickly at the top, and that is true for our hole also. So what we're going to do now is, before we do our final round of decreases, which is one decrease all the way around, we're going to stuff. So let me grab some stuffing here. We don't need a whole lot. That might be enough. I don't know, let's see. But we're just gonna stuff. All right, I think that's good. So this is what I'm looking like. I did stuff pretty firm. You don't want to stuff firm to the point where you can see the white stuffing coming through, but you do want to stuff firm enough to where like it doesn't have a lot of give. So I think that's good for me. Do it however you see fit, but that is what I'm looking like. So now for row number 12, we're going to do one decrease all the way around, and just be careful to pull up as little of that stuffing as possible, because it is kind of hard when you stuff before you're finished. So decrease all the way around, and then meet me back here once you're done. All right, so this is what my strawberry's looking like so far. And now we need to work on the leaves. So I'm gonna pull out, I went with a lighter color green. Feel free to use like a darker green. If you do, send me a picture. I wanna see what it looks like with the darker one. So what we're gonna do is start with a magic circle, just like we did with the body of our strawberry. We're gonna put 6 single crochets inside of our magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh god, that was like a task closing that. Okay, row number 2 is going to be increases all the way around, which is 2 single crochets in each stitch. So that's 1, and then do another one in that same stitch. 1, and another one in that stitch, and you're going to do that all the way around. Okay, here is the fun part. So our next pattern is we are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put 3 single crochets inside of that chain. So starting with the second chain from the hook, we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. For me, that's there. Do 1 more single crochet, and then we're going to do it all over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, into the chain. 1, 2, and 3. Single crochet in the next stitch. Single crochet 1 more time, and then start all over. And this is going to give us the leaves on our strawberry. So if we get our strawberry, it's going to be the leaves going down the side of our strawberry. So go ahead and do that all the way around. Rewind and rewatch as you need to, and then I'll meet you back when I've done the rest of mine. All right, and so when we are at the end, there'll be 2 single crochets left. Go ahead and make those 2 single crochets, and you don't need to chain 4, obviously, because we came to the end. So go ahead and fasten off. Leave a pretty decent tail, because we're going to sew the top of our leaves to our strawberry base. So this is what we're looking like. Looks kind of like a splattered plankton, but that's what we're looking like. And when we put it on top of our strawberry, that's what it looks like. Okay, so the very last part of this, well, not the very last part, but the next part of this is we want to close up this hole that we made with our strawberry. So I'm just going to do that, and then we're going to sew the top of our strawberry to the base. And usually if like I wasn't putting a top on it, I would hide this stuffing, how it, like, you can see it through the stitches. But because we're putting a top on, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this hole and then hide the yarn somewhere in my work and cut off the excess. Next, what I'm gonna do is grab this green, this long tail, thread it through my yarn needle, and I'm actually, uh-oh, that didn't go through. I'm actually gonna use a quilting pen. I'm gonna use one of the bigger ones today. And what I want to do is poke through my magic circle. And you don't have to do this, honestly. This is just a preference so that I can line up my magic circles. But I put the pin through the magic circle on the top for my leafy part, and I'm going to put it through the magic circle, well, the ending circle for our strawberry. And that way it's lined up. Now, for me, I'm going to sew all of these little leaves down, but if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. If you want your leaves to be kind of free flowing, you can just sew around that circle that we made, but I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is make sure you tuck in that, or cut the tail, whatever you prefer. Ow, my pin is going through and it just poked me. Ow, where is, oh, it's right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to go into my strawberry, and I'm gonna come up where I want that leaf to be placed. So for me, I'm gonna come up about right there. I'm gonna go through the top of that leaf, just like that. And I'm just gonna go into that same hole. And then come out in between those two leaves. Like right there is good. You see when we pull, it just kind of pulls that tight. I'm gonna go into the next stitch and then come up where I want that leaf to be. So about right there. And do the same thing. Come up in between those two. It doesn't really matter where, it's just somewhere in between the two. Go into the next stitch. And I don't know if you can tell, I'm trying to stay on the same row with all of the leaves. If you don't want that look, you definitely don't have to use that. But I kind of want some uniformity for mine. So I'm going to do this all the way around, and I'll show you what it looks like once I'm done. Okay, so I'm done with sewing the leaves down. And I'm going to remove this quilting pin. And what I did is just came up through the magic circle, because I'm going to attach my keychain through the magic circle. But this is what I'm looking like so far. Let me grab my keychain and some white yarn so we can put the little seeds in there, and we will be done. So let me go ahead and grab that and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's do our seeds next. It was funny because I was like doing this pattern last night, and I asked my husband, like, hey, how does this look? Does it look like a real strawberry? First thing out of his mouth was, where's the seeds? So we're gonna add some seeds. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go in through an arbitrary place, and the seeds are not uniform. So think about a real strawberry, right? You cannot see a pattern in how the seeds are added. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna arbitrarily and randomly place our seeds. I'm doing mine one stitch apart, which means that I came in through this stitch. I'm just gonna go one stitch down, pick another place, pull them kind of tight, not tight to where they look like, you know, indentations, but tight enough. And so I picked this one. I'm gonna go one up, pick an arbitrary place. I'm just gonna do this all the way around. Okay, and then we're gonna come up through the same place that we started with our white, and we are gonna tie this off and hide the yarn in our work. And the only thing we have left to do now is to attach the keychain. All right, so this is what we're looking like so far with our seeds. And now the final thing we need to do is to add our keychain. And honestly, I'm using a new keychain, so I can actually use my regular yarn needle. That's kind of exciting. So if you've been following my channel, I bought a new keychain. Well, I guess the ones before I bought these. And for some reason, like, nothing. I couldn't fit my yarn needle through the hole of these new keychains, and it was like super annoying. But these new ones I bought, I can. So, and I bought these to go with my Afro puff doll. So if you haven't checked those out, honestly, check them out in my Etsy shop. I just created some new skin tone variations, so check those out. And my dog has got a hold to a water bottle. That's fun while I'm recording. But I'm just going to go ahead and attach this, and then I'll meet you back here. And so to attach this, I was talking the whole time. I didn't even realize I didn't explain what I was doing. So for my beginners out there who's never attached a keychain, you just want to go into the surrounding loops around your keychain, just kind of go back and forth to secure it down, and then just knot your yarn in some other place outside of that circle. What I also like to do is I split my yarn in two. Well, for these particular keychains, my other ones I don't do that, but for these ones I'm going to split my yarn in two, make sure they're 1 stitch apart, and I'm just going to knot them, and that's just going to keep the yarn in place. And I haven't seen other people do this, like my friend crocheters or what have you, but because, you know, the thought is that when you knot your yarn and when you drag it back and forth across the loop, it secures it. But keychains, they get bumped around so much, I just don't trust it, you know. So I do the extra secure knot, and it just makes me feel better. So I'm just gonna hide this in my work. I'm gonna pull and then cut, and I pull because it helps to hide the yarn better. And that is our keychain. And this time around I used the clippy keychain because it's a little bit easier to put onto bags. And again, I was really excited because I just bought these for my Afro puff keychains. Again, check those out on my Etsy shop if you haven't. But this is what we're looking like. Super cute. Alright, so let's talk what you can do with this. Obviously you can change the color, and I actually have one here. I didn't add the keychain to it, but this is a pink one that I did, and it was really cute. And I didn't add seeds to this one. It might be cute with the seeds, honestly, but I was just playing with it, playing with the pattern. And I kind of like the red one better, I'm not gonna lie to you, but this one is a nice variation. So you could change the color, that'd be fun. You could make it bigger. We did, what was it, 6 single crochets and then an increase. You could make it bigger by going further out. That might be cool. Let's see what else. Add a different type of keychain. You can make the seeds different. You can make the seeds hearts. That would be really cool. Making the seeds heart would be actually really cool. So there's lots of variation you can use with this. Really cool for a vendor fair, really cool for a gift. My youngest is gonna steal it. I'm gonna try to hide this one because I actually really like it, but I hope you enjoyed this pattern. This is part of our January series. Again, I just want to make crocheting easy. January is all about easy projects that a beginning crocheter can pick up and have fun with, besides a scarf or a blanket. Like, I really hate that stigma. So this is just fun stuff that folks can pick up and have fun with. Hopefully you liked it. That's not a word. Hopefully you liked it. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Stay safe out there. The rain has finally ceased out here, so we got some sunshine today. It's a pretty nice day. Stay safe, crochet some cool stuff, and I'll meet you back here next week.